The rain lashed down in torrents, and thunder shook the very earth. Suddenly, a jagged bolt of lightning ripped through the sky and slammed directly into the roof of my dilapidated shack at the foot of the Dragon Marquis Estate's back mountain. Boom! I bolted upright on my bed, which was really just two wooden door planks pushed together, drenched in a cold sweat. I gasped for air, my heart hammering against my ribs. Holy crap, that scared the life out of me. I blurted out. Then I froze. I looked around at the rotting thatch walls and the miserable room. I was completely stunned. Where the hell was I? This wasn't right. I was supposed to be in my room, hunched over my computer, grinding away at a game. I had just cornered the ultimate boss. I was about to land the killing blow. I remembered thinking that the boss would definitely drop a god-tier item. I was going to be rich. I was going to reach the pinnacle of life and marry a goddess. But then wait. I remembered a flash. Lightning had struck my computer tower before I could even see the loot. I must have blacked out. Suddenly, my head exploded with pain. Memories that weren't mine began flooding in like a tidal wave, forcing their way into my brain. I saw a boy who had broken through to a level 5 warrior at only 9 years old. The greatest genius in the Imperial City. The proud descendant of the Dragon General. The Emperor had even betrothed him to the beautiful Nangong Yen. It was a perfect match. But then the memories turned dark. That genius, Long Fei, had been ambushed by a mysterious figure. His dragon god bloodline was ripped out of him. His dantian was shattered. His veins were destroyed. In an instant, his cultivation dropped to 0. He became a nobody. A cripple. It's useless, the doctors had said. Not even a great return pill can save him. He's a commoner now. I felt the sting of the memories that followed. My own family turned on me. My uncle shouted that I was a waste of resources. My cousins mocked me. Long Fei, you used to be so arrogant. One of them, Long Ao, sneered in the memory. How does it feel to be stepped on by me? You can't even beat a beggar on the street. If I were you, I'd just die and get it over with. The clan head went into secluded meditation, and my life became a living hell. They cut off my food and supplies. They told me if I wanted to eat, I had to beg or work like a slave. The last thing I remembered was Long Ao kicking me in the chest. My head hit a stone monument, and then everything went black. I sat there, staring at my hands. Good God, I whispered. I just killed a boss in a game. Did you really have to punish me like this? I had transmigrated. I was in another world, trapped in the body of a loser. I was pissed. Extremely pissed. According to these memories, my family history was legendary. The first ancestor, Long Zhantian, had carved out a path with a single blade. He had slain a dragon god, bathed in its blood, and became the strongest warrior on the Tianwu continent. He helped found the Holy Dynasty and earned the title of Dragon God Marquis. I was supposed to be the heir to that glory. I was the one born with the bloodline. By 14, I was a level 2 master, the top genius of the empire. People used to worship me. Now, they treated me like dirt. 3 days ago, Long Ao kicked me nearly to death just because I glanced at the woman standing next to him. Just a single look. That was how pathetic my life had become. You couldn't bring me here when I was at the top. I cursed at the ceiling. You wait until I'm a cripple? You're trying to kill me, aren't you? In this world, strength was everything. The dantian was the core, the place where you gathered energy. With a shattered dantian, I was a walking corpse. I didn't know the first thing about ancient cultivation anyway. I was a gamer. If this were a game, I could beat anyone with one hand tied behind my back. But this was reality. Or was it? A strange throbbing started in the back of my mind. I closed my eyes and saw something flickering. It looked exactly like a gift box from a video game. I laughed bitterly, thinking I was finally losing my mind. But out of habit, I focused my mind and clicked it. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for activating the Berserk system. Would you like to view your attributes? I froze. A game system? In the real world? This couldn't be happening. I took a deep breath and thought, view. A translucent interface appeared in my mind. Player, Long Fei level, 0 realm, none, rankings, warrior, master, spirit, king, venerable, ancestor, emperor, god, earth, true chi, 0 skills, none luck, 0 charm, 0 berserk value, 100/100. There were dozens of other locked categories that required a higher level to open. A slow, wicked grin spread across my face. I didn't know how to meditate or cultivate, but I knew how to play a game. I was a professional. If life is a game now, I whispered, then I'm going to win. Just as I was admiring the interface, the door creaked open. A young girl in a maid's outfit rushed in. When she saw me sitting up, she stopped dead in her tracks. She had a delicate face, clear eyes, and a grace that even her rags couldn't hide. She was young, but you could tell she was going to be a stunning beauty in a few years. Her name was JoJo. She was an orphan the clan head had brought home years ago to be my companion. When I was a genius, she was by my side. When I became a cripple and was kicked out to this shack, she was the only one who followed me. She had spent the last year working herself to the bone to keep me alive. Looking at her, a wave of genuine gratitude washed over me. I wasn't the original Long Fei, but I shared his heart. And I knew one thing for sure. Without this girl, I would have died a long time ago. JoJo was more than just a maid to me. In this world, she was the only person who truly cared, the only family I had left. Back in my old life, I was an orphan with no one to call my own. Now that I had someone, I swore I would protect her with everything I had. I gave her a small, reassuring nod. I'm okay, I whispered. Suddenly, a heavy thud echoed through the air. The courtyard door was kicked off its hinges with a violent crash. JoJo, today is the deadline, a coarse, booming voice yelled. Let's see where you can hide now. Inside the room, JoJo's face went pale. She started trembling uncontrollably. I narrowed my eyes, the voice sounding familiar. It was Lee San, one of the many low-level managers in the Long clan who handled chores and logistics. He's here for the debt, JoJo whispered, her voice shaking. I didn't know much about our finances. I had spent my time in a daze, leaving JoJo to handle everything. But I knew Lee San. He was a lecherous pig who had been eyeing JoJo for a long time. A few days ago, after Long Ao knocked you unconscious, I had to borrow money from him to buy your medicine, JoJo explained softly. He said I had 3 months to pay it back. But when I looked at the contract later, the 3 months had been changed to 3 days. Today is the final day. Get out here right now. Lee San's voice roared again, followed by a disgusting laugh. Just spend one night with me, and we can forget about the money. You could live the good life with me, JoJo. It's a hell of a lot better than staying with that useless young master of yours. He wasn't stopping. I'm giving you a chance here. Don't be ungrateful. Back when Long Fei was a genius, he could protect you. Now, he's just a cripple. A disgrace to the family. Everyone in the clan wants him dead anyway. Follow me, and I'll take real good care of you. Fury boiled in my chest. A pathetic errand boy thought he could walk all over me? Damn it, I spat. I stormed out of the room and glared at him. Lee San, you've got a death wish. You're just a servant, and you think you can touch my people? Lee San blinked, momentarily surprised to see me standing. Then, he let out a mocking sneer. Oh, still think you're the great genius of the Long clan? You're a waste. Your dantian is shattered. You're nothing. Why don't you go find a puddle and look at your pathetic reflection? He didn't fear me at all. In the Long clan, nobody did. A broken dantian meant I could never cultivate again. I was a dead end. I clenched my fists so hard my knuckles popped. Oh, are we angry? Lee Sin taunted, stepping closer. I'm so scared. Come on then. Hit me. Let's see if a piece of trash like you can even touch my sleeve. JoJo grabbed my arm, shaking her head. Young master, don't. He's a level 1 warrior. He's stronger than you. A level 1 warrior. That was why he was so arrogant. I was level 0, a man with no rank at all. What's the matter? Lee San laughed. Scared? I could kill you with one hand. You useless brat. The anger in me was a physical weight now. I couldn't take it anymore. Lee San turned his gaze back to JoJo, his eyes roaming over her face. Time's up, JoJo. Pay the money or spend the night. I won't hit you. You're too pretty for that. But as for this waste, Long Fei, he might not be so lucky. JoJo took a shaky step forward, ready to sacrifice herself. I grabbed her hand and pulled her back. As long as I'm here, I said firmly, no one touches you. I stepped out from under the eaves. A toad was crawling out of a hole in the mud, a red health bar floating above its head. I didn't hesitate. I brought my foot down hard. Squish. The toad let out a final croak as its guts spilled out. A notification chimed in my head. Asterisk ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing a toad. Gain 10 experience points, 0 true chi. Asterisk. Asterisk ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for triggering the Berserk attribute. Drop divine skill, toad style. Do you wish to cultivate? Asterisk. Asterisk ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, level 1 warrior. Asterisk. 3 prompts flashed before my eyes. I focused my mind on the skill. Cultivate. The rage inside me exploded. I dropped to the ground, crouching low in the mud. A strange, guttural croaking sound began to vibrate in my throat. Young master, Jojo cried out, her face full of horror. Lee Sin burst out laughing. You waste. Kneeling won't help you now. I'm taking her today regardless. Before he could finish his sentence, my body launched forward like a cannonball. Boom. I slammed into Lee San's stomach. His body folded inward, his eyes nearly bulging out of his sockets. He couldn't even scream. The force sent him flying backward, smashing through a mud wall until it collapsed on top of him. I walked over and ground my boot into his face. I stared down at him like a vengeful god. Feeling arrogant now, you dog? Lee San wheezed, his internal organs feeling like they were shredded. But he still tried to act tough. Long Fei, you better apologize. I'll tell Manager Long. I'm his nephew, you're dead. I gave him a cold, dark smile. You think this trash dares to kill me? Lee San sneered, though his eyes were trembling. My uncle will slaughter you. Jojo ran over, her eyes wide with shock. Young master, if he dies, Manager Long won't let us go. Lee San smirked. You hear that, waste? If you dare touch me, Crunch. I slammed a fist directly into his forehead. I poured the power of the toad style into the blow. His skull buckled instantly. Blood sprayed across my face. A flash of lightning streaked across the sky, illuminating my features. People who threaten me, I said, my voice ice cold, only have one ending. Death. Asterisk ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Lee San. Gained 100 experience points, 10 spirit value, 10 berserk energy. Asterisk. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining 200 taels of silver. Asterisk ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, level 2 warrior. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for reaching level 2. You have received a newbie gift pack. Do you wish to accept? I stood there, slightly dazed. I knew killing monsters gave experience, but I hadn't expected killing people to work the same way. And that toad style? I checked the stats. Skill, toad style. Grade, divine. In this world, skills were ranked heaven, earth, black, and yellow, with 10 levels each. Divine was above them all. It had 2 modes, a physical power attack and a true chi attack that triggered a strangulation effect. I was stunned. I had played games for years and rarely saw a divine skill. I had just stepped on a toad and got a god-tier move. This was incredible. I looked at my berserk value. It looked like I needed 100 points to trigger the full berserk mode. Killing one person gave me 10. A dark thought crossed my mind as I looked at the corpse at my feet. In this world, it seemed like anyone who messed with me was just going to be another source of experience points. I didn't hesitate. With a single thought, I commanded the system, accept. In my mind, a gift box glowing with a fierce red light trembled and burst open. A flood of notifications washed over me, faster than I could keep track of. Asterisk ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for learning basic sword skills. Asterisk. Asterisk ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for learning alchemy. Asterisk. Asterisk ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for learning formation breaking. Asterisk. Asterisk ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for learning beast taming. Asterisk. Asterisk ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for learning puppet mastery. Asterisk. The list went on. Every single auxiliary profession available on the Tianwu continent was now mine. Not only that, they were set to automatic cultivation. I checked the stats for alchemy. It was currently at yellow grade, level 1. To upgrade it, I just needed to use it. It cost 10 points of true chi per use, and the higher the grade, the more it would consume. I started laughing like a madman. In this world, people spent their entire lives trying to master just one of these crafts. You needed fire element talent for alchemy, natural affinity for formations, and a soul bond for beast taming. But me? I didn't need talent. I just needed proficiency points. As long as I kept grinding, I could become a grandmaster in everything. I looked at the sky and grinned. Give me enough time, and I'll trample every so-called master under my feet. Xiao Xiao was staring at me, her eyes wide with worry. To her, I probably looked like I'd finally lost my mind. She looked at me closely, trying to find the young master she knew. Then, she saw it. The spark of confidence that had been missing for a year. "Young master, are you okay?" she whispered. I snapped out of it and felt a surge of pure joy. I grabbed her and gave her a loud, heavy kiss right on the cheek. "Xiao Xiao, our good days are finally coming." She froze like she'd been struck by lightning. Her body went stiff, her eyes glazed over, and her face turned as red as a ripe apple. Her heart was probably racing a mile a minute. I didn't have time to let her daydream, though. "Don't just stand there," I urged. "Help me." We had to get rid of Lisan's body. Long Dayo would eventually notice his nephew was missing, and I needed to be strong enough to face him by the time he did. As we worked, Xiao Xiao told me that Lisan had been reporting my every move to his uncle. "So he was a spy," I said, my voice cold. "Then he definitely deserved to die." "But what happens when he doesn't report back?" Xiao Xiao asked, her voice trembling. "His uncle will come looking for you. Don't worry. We have one night to prepare." I handed her the 200 taels of silver I'd looted. "Take this. Find a place to hide in the city. Don't come out until I find you." Her eyes immediately filled with tears. She grabbed my sleeve, her knuckles white. "Young master, are you leaving me?" My heart ached seeing her like that. I pulled her close. "I would never leave you. I'm going out to cultivate. It might be 6 months, maybe a year, but I will come back. There are too many things in the Long family I haven't finished, and too many people who still need to die." I knew I couldn't stay. The Long family was full of predators waiting for me to fail. I was the official heir, but someone had stolen my dragon god bloodline, shattered my dantian, and crippled my veins. I didn't have proof yet, but I knew the family elders were involved. If they found out I could cultivate again, they'd kill me before I could grow. I had to leave, get strong, and then come back to settle the score. Xiao Xiao nodded through her tears. She knew she'd only slow me down. "I'll be back," I promised. Under a torrential downpour, we slipped out of the Long estate. I dropped Xiao Xiao off at a small hidden courtyard in the slums, and then vanished into the rainy night, heading toward the holy mountains. Meanwhile, in the prince's mansion, an old butler whispered to Prince Nangong Lei. "Long Fei has left the city. He's heading toward the mountains. Should we send men after him?" Nangong Lei didn't even look up. "He's a waste. Entering those mountains is a death sentence anyway. He won't be an obstacle to my daughter's future." The Holy Mountains were one of the 4 great forbidden zones of the continent. It was a place of legends and death. My grandfather, Long Zhanhai, had died in the depths of those peaks fighting a demon sovereign. The family's greatest treasure, the dragon's slayerized blade, had vanished with him. For thousands of years, the Long family had sent warriors to find it, but few ever returned. After a day and a half of trekking, I stood at the foot of the towering peaks. They looked like a giant, dark beast waiting to swallow me whole. I gripped my fists. This was where my path to power truly began. I didn't go deep into the center where the high-level spirit beasts lived. I wasn't suicidal. I stayed on the outskirts and started small. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing a wild rabbit. Gained 10 experience points. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing a wild chicken. Gained 10 experience points. To any pro gamer, the tower isn't built in a day. You have to grind the small mobs first. 2 days passed. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, level 3 warrior. Not enough? I muttered, wiping the sweat from my brow. I need more power. 3 more days of constant hunting followed. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, level 4 warrior. I felt the strength surging through my limbs, but it still wasn't enough. I needed to be faster. I needed to be stronger. I turned my gaze deeper into the woods. The real hunt was just beginning. I took a moment to check my status. The damage from my toad style wasn't high enough yet. I needed more power. I spent the next 10 days pushing myself to the limit. Asterisk ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for reaching level 5 warrior. Asterisk. I closed my eyes and felt the energy coursing through my veins. A level 5 warrior was worlds apart from level 4. I checked the damage output on my toadstyle and grinned. It was time. I was done hunting rabbits and chickens. Behind me lay a literal graveyard of small game. I had become the Terminator of rabbits, but that wasn't my goal. Through all that grinding, my basic sword technique and toadstyle had both reached level 3. Toadstyle had a long cooldown and needed 10,000 proficiency points to level up again. I was only halfway there. It was time to head deeper into the mountains. I didn't waste a single opportunity for experience. If a mosquito flew past me, I killed it. Half a month later, I broke through again, reaching level 6 warrior. By then, I had finally entered the heart of the holy mountain range. The atmosphere changed instantly. The air felt heavy and dangerous. As a level 6 warrior, I could handle level 1 demon beasts with my toadstyle, but a level 2 beast would probably kill me instantly. I slowed my pace, moving with caution. Suddenly, a wolf the size of a man lunged from the brush. Its fur stood up like steel needles. Its green eyes locked onto mine, and saliva dripped from its glowing white fangs. With a terrifying roar, it leaped, aiming straight for my throat. "You want to eat me?" I snarled. "Well, I've never tasted wolf meat before. Sit down." I dropped to the ground, limbs splayed out like a toad. A strange croaking sound vibrated in my throat. Just as the wolf was about to land on me, I launched myself upward like a cannonball. I slammed into its belly. The wolf let out a pained yelp as it was sent flying. Before it could recover, I pulled out a heavy wooden club and swung it with everything I had. Crack! The wolf's skull shattered. Its eyes rolled back, and after a few violent twitches, it went still. Asterisk ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing a gray wolf. Gained 100 experience points, 10 true chi, and 1 energy point. Asterisk. Asterisk ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining a wolf pelt. Asterisk. I let out an excited laugh. Killing common animals for a month gave me barely anything, but demon beasts were different. They gave me true chi and energy. I checked my stats. I had 90 points of true chi now, and my energy was actually berserk points. Killing a human gave 10 berserk points, while a demon beast only gave 1. Humans were worth 10 times more, but there were millions of beasts in these mountains. My blood started to boil. If a toad could drop a god-level technique, what would these beasts drop? I went into a killing frenzy. Gaming was what I did best. Back in my old life, I once stayed online for 7 days and 7 nights straight just to hit rank 1 on the leaderboard. I did it to impress a girl, but she ended up running off with a rich player anyway. In a rage, I hunted that guy down until he was forced back to the starter village. The point is, I have stamina. I can go for a long time. Asterisk ding. Killed a level 1 python. Gained 100 experience, 10 true chi, 1 energy. Asterisk. Asterisk ding. Killed a level 1 jumping tiger. Gained 100 experience, 10 true chi, 1 energy. Asterisk. I didn't sleep for 3 days and 3 nights. I was a machine. Finally, after taking down a long-armed ape, a new notification popped up. Asterisk ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei. Berserk gauge is full. Asterisk. I felt a rush of adrenaline. I needed to find a powerful beast to kill. If I used the berserk system on a high-level boss, the loot would be legendary. My gamer instincts told me to be patient. The higher the level of the monster, the better the drop. I decided to hunt a level 2 demon beast. I moved deeper for about half an hour, but then I stopped. Something was wrong. The forest had gone silent. No birds, no insects, not even a squirrel. It was eerie. Then, a strange, sweet fragrance drifted through the air. My heart skipped a beat. This was the scent of a heavenly spirit fruit. I'd been in these mountains for 2 months and never smelled anything like it. It was better than any perfume. In a place this dangerous, a scent like that meant only one thing. A rare treasure was ripening. But treasures are always guarded by powerful beasts. If I could kill a guardian beast with my berserk gauge full, I'd be set for life. I moved slowly, stopping at a thicket. I rubbed leaf juice over my body to mask my scent, smeared mud on my face, and stuck branches into my clothes. I looked like a pile of dirt. I stayed perfectly still, watching a cave in the valley below. Red light pulsed from the entrance. The fruit was close to maturing. I waited for the guardian or other competitors to show up. I had to be the vulture in this fight. At my level, a direct confrontation was suicide. One day passed. Nothing. No guardian, no rivals. The red light grew stronger, and the fragrance became so thick it made my head spin with energy. A second day passed. Still nothing. I started to wonder if the cave was empty. Was the guardian inside? My mind was a battlefield of indecision, but I forced myself to stay put. On the third day, the sky turned black. Massive thunderclouds rolled over the valley, swirling with violent energy. Lightning began to crash down, and the air grew heavy with the coming storm. The real show was about to begin. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning ripped through the sky. A massive serpent with 2 horns on its head burst through the clouds, diving toward the cave entrance. My heart nearly stopped. It was a Jiao dragon. This was a peak rank 9 demon beast, a creature on the verge of becoming a divine beast. I had been waiting for something big, but this was terrifying. It had 4 claws and a snake-like body that hadn't fully evolved yet. One more step, and it would be a true dragon. It wanted the fruit to break its shackles and complete the transformation. When the Jiao dragon landed, the entire mountain shook. A white light flashed from inside the cave, and a snow-white wolf stepped out. Spiritual light shimmered across its fur like a glowing weapon from a video game. These two were living treasures. The dragon and the wolf locked eyes as thunder roared above, their mental pressure clashing in the air. I pressed my body lower into the mud, forcing myself to stay calm. When I looked through my system interface, both of them were glowing with a blinding golden light. Bosses. Only boss-level entities glowed like that. I swallowed hard, my pulse racing. Fight, I whispered to myself. Please, just start fighting. As if answering my prayer, the Jiao dragon attacked. It unleashed a water-based strike, swinging its massive tail like a blade. A giant crescent of energy sliced through the air. The white wolf didn't flinch. A glowing shield wrapped around its body, absorbing the hit. Then, the wolf leaped into the air, its jaws wide, aiming straight for the dragon's throat. The two peaked beasts tore into each other. The ground trembled and rocks tumbled down the cliffs. Every other beast within 1,000 miles was running for its life, terrified of being caught in the crossfire. To me, this was a battle of gods. A single stray spark of their power would grind me into dust. They fought from day until night, then from night until dawn. For a full day and night, the slaughter never stopped. The dragon's scales were torn off, leaving raw gasps, while the wolf was covered in deep, bloody gouges. Neither side had the upper hand. My nerves were fried just watching it. Eventually, both creatures began to gasp for breath. They were exhausted. I stayed hidden, knowing they could still kill me with a flick of a claw. I needed the perfect moment. Suddenly, a strange hum vibrated from the cave. The fruit was ripe. The Jiao dragon went wild. It lunged and sank its teeth into the white wolf's shoulder. The wolf howled in agony but bit back just as hard. They were locked in a death grip, neither willing to let go. This was it. My chance. I used every bit of strength I had and sprinted toward the two bosses. I glanced at their health bars. The dragon was slightly lower. I'll take you out first. I yelled in my head. I triggered my Toad Arch skill, channeling all my internal chi. I dropped low and launched myself like a rocket, slamming into the Jiao dragon's lower jaw. Its teeth shattered, and it let out a muffled scream. In that instant, the hidden effect of my skill triggered decapitation. The dragon's internal organs were pulverized by a sudden surge of power. Its remaining health vanished. The massive body crashed to the ground, those lantern-like eyes staring at me in disbelief as the life faded from them. The system notifications started screaming in my head. My berserk gauge was full. Go berserk, I roared internally. The rewards flooded my vision. I had killed a rank 9 Jiao dragon. 1 million experience points. 10,000 chi points. 1 energy point. I leveled up 5 times in a single second, reaching the rank of level 2 battle master. I gained the dragon's bloodline and 3 different rank 9 demon cores: wind, illusion, and water. But the big prizes were at the end. I had obtained a divine grade skill, the Dragon Slayer Blade technique. And then, the legendary weapon itself, the Dragon Slayer Blade. I was shaking. This was insane. 5 levels at once. 3 peak rank cores? Any one of those was worth a fortune. But the blade, that was on another level. I checked the stats. It was a divine grade weapon, though currently damaged. It weighed 13,000 pounds and had SSS rank destructive power. It dealt 200% extra damage to evil creatures and a staggering 500% extra damage to dragons. It even had a hidden skill called Dragon Slayer Strike. The blade was pitch black with a snow-white edge, a furious dragon carved into the spine. It radiated a domineering aura that felt like a dragon's roar. The only problem was that it was broken. Only half the blade remained. If it was this strong while broken, I couldn't imagine its power once restored. A new notification popped up. A hidden S-rank quest, repair the Dragon Slayer Blade. I had 1 year to finish it. The rewards were massive, including 1,000,000 experience points and a clue to the blade's secrets involving the Nangong Imperial family. I was so excited I felt like I was dreaming. I tried to summon the blade into my hand to give it a swing, but a red warning flashed. Insufficient strength. Unable to use. I cursed under my breath. The blade required 99 points of strength, and I only had 50. I needed to level up, and fast. This blade was the ancestral treasure of my family, the Lin house. It had been missing for thousands of years. With this in my hand, nobody in the family would ever dare look down on me again. If they disrespected me, I'd cleave them in two. I couldn't lift it yet, but I could still learn the technique. I clicked Cultivate, and the divine grade Dragon Slayer Blade technique burned into my mind. I could feel the destructive power flowing through me. My journey was just beginning. The Dragon Slayer Blade technique was divided into 7 devastating forms: Skin Peeler, Tendon Severer, Bone Crusher, Blood Seeker, Spirit Breaker, Soul Shatterer, and Sandstorm. Each time I unleashed a form, I would accumulate a layer of Saber Chi. Once I hit 7 layers, I could trigger the Dragon Slayer Mad Slash, dealing a massive 500% damage. Better yet, if I used the technique while actually wielding the Dragon Slayer Blade, the damage would double. I stared at the stats, breathless. The word overpowered didn't even cover it. I didn't stop there. I took the 3 rank 9 demon cores I'd harvested, wind, illusion, and water, and fused them all into my body. A notification chimed, informing me that my comprehension of all 3 elements had increased by 10%. It sounded small, but it was a permanent buff. From now on, any techniques I practiced using those elements would be faster to learn and more powerful to execute. Even my defense against those elements jumped by 10%. I let out a satisfied groan. This feeling of constant growth was addictive. Suddenly, a heavy pressure hit me. I looked up and saw the white wolf staring at me. She wasn't attacking. Her eyes were filled with a desperate, pleading light. I noticed a pool of blood forming beneath her, and my eyes widened as I looked at her swollen belly. She was in labor. The day and night of brutal fighting with the Jiao Dragon had caused massive internal trauma, and now she was suffering from a difficult birth and a hemorrhage. She looked at me, then glanced toward the cave where the spiritual fruit grew. "Do you want me to get the fruit to save you?" I asked tentatively. The wolf nodded, then shook her head. She looked down at her belly again. "You want me to save your child?" I asked. She nodded immediately. I didn't hesitate. I wouldn't have any of these treasures if it weren't for her distracting the dragon. I wasn't an ungrateful person. I sprinted into the cave and found the heavenly spiritual fruit glowing with a vibrant red light. It was perfectly ripe. I plucked it quickly, refusing to even look at its stats through the system interface. I was afraid that if I saw how valuable it was, I might be tempted to keep it for myself. I ran back out to find the white wolf on the verge of death. A tiny pup was trapped in a bloody membrane beneath her, barely struggling. Save my child." A faint psychic message echoed in my mind. "What about you?" I asked, my heart sinking. "Save my child," she repeated. She was at the end of her rope. Even if I gave her the fruit, she wouldn't survive. She was choosing to give her life for her pup. That was a mother's instinct. I moved instantly. I picked up the tiny pup, cleared the blood from its mouth, and gently fed it the heavenly spiritual fruit. The mother wolf watched me, a faint, peaceful smile appearing on her face. "Thank you," her mind whispered. Then her body went stiff. She was gone. The pup swallowed the fruit, and a miracle happened. Its strength returned instantly. It began licking my arm and snuggling into my chest. A new thought popped into my head. Master. The system chimed. Ding. Congratulations on obtaining a battle pet, Little White. Pet system unlocked. Reward, 100 experience points and 10 true chi. I checked the stats. Little White was a divine grade beast. I was stunned. His mother had only been rank 9, but he had ascended to divine grade, likely because of the spiritual fruit. A rank 9 beast usually needed a massive stroke of luck to evolve into a divine beast, but this little guy had done it at birth. I felt a chill of relief. If I had been greedy and eaten that fruit myself, my current body probably would have exploded from the sheer energy. Little White curled up in my arms and fell into a deep sleep, clearly seeing me as his new parent. From now on, you're my brother, I whispered, looking at the mother's body. I won't let anyone bully him. I promise. Of course, he was still just a cub. Like me, he needed to grow and level up to unlock his true power. I tucked him into the pet space and turned my focus back to the grind. I needed strength. I needed to lift that 13,000-pound blade. I spent the next few months in a frenzy of violence. Toad style, kill. I slammed my fist down, shattering an ironclad beetle. I used a heavy wooden branch as a makeshift sword to practice the Dragon Slayer technique. First form, skin peeler. Even with a stick, the true chi surged, leaving a visible layer of saber chi that only I could see. The monster in front of me was literally flayed open, dying instantly. My sweat soaked the ground. This technique drained my mental and physical energy like a vacuum, but the damage was terrifying. I kept pushing. 5 months passed in a blur of blood and leveling. Ding. Congratulations, player Lin Yuan has reached level 5 Battle Master. Ding. Basic sword skills reached level 8. Ding. Toad style reached level 2. Ding. Dragon Slayer technique reached level 1. I looked at my character sheet and laughed. The power flowing through me was immense. A level 5 Battle Master. In the Lin family's younger generation, who could possibly stand against me now? It was time for revenge. For 6 months, the memories of my humiliation had played on a loop in my head. My dragon god bloodline being forcibly stripped away, the mocking laughter of my relatives, and even the servants like Li San treating me like trash. That night, I sat by a campfire, roasting beast meat. The scent of cumin and salt filled the air. Little White sat by my side, his eyes glued to the meat, drool dripping from his chin. I smiled, but my eyes were cold. I was going back to the city, and I was going to make everyone who laughed at me kneel. The little white wolf didn't level up at all over those 5 months. Instead, he just got fat. I'd been feeding him so well that he looked like a fluffy, white ball of fur. He was adorable, but he was a total glutton. I pulled the roasted meat off the fire. Suddenly, a white blur flashed past me. Before I could even react, the meat was gone. Little White had snatched it right off the spit and swallowed it whole. He didn't even care that it was boiling hot. He sat there wagging his tail, looking at me with those big, innocent eyes. Master more, he seemed to say. You little glutton, I laughed. This is high-quality spirit meat. You're supposed to savor it, not inhale it. He just nodded vigorously. I sighed and started on the second piece. The moment it was ready, snap. He bolted it down again. The piece of meat was literally bigger than his entire body. I honestly had no idea where he was putting it all. His stomach didn't even bulge. After polishing off 10 more huge steaks, he finally looked satisfied and vanished back into my spirit pet space to sleep. Eat and sleep. You're not a wolf, you're a pig, I muttered. I looked up at the night sky. My mind drifted to a girl named Xiao Xiao. She was the only person who had stayed loyal to me when I was at my lowest. Wait for me, Xiao Xiao. I'm coming back to Holy City soon. While I was dreaming of home, things were getting ugly in the city's western slums. Long Dayo, a fat but powerful chief manager of the Lin family, was prowling through the alleys. He was a level 8 battle master, and his strength rivaled a level 9. Sir, Xiao Xiao is hiding somewhere in these slums, a guard reported. She definitely knows where that trash Lin Yuan is. Long Dayo's face twisted in rage. Find her. That brat Lin Yuan dared to kill my nephew. When I catch him, I'll make him wish he was never born. Back in the holy mountains, dark clouds covered the moon. I was jolted awake by a shouting voice echoing through the woods. Search the area. They're hit with the blood-refining miasma. They can't have gone far. Come out, little beauties of the Chaotian sect. I'll take real good care of you. I snapped my eyes open. Before I could move, a cold blade was pressed against my throat. Don't move, or I'll kill you, a woman's voice whispered. I had been having a great dream about 3 goddesses in a hot spring, and now I was staring at a sharp sword. My heart did a little jump. I won't talk. I promise, I said quickly. The blade was right against my carotid artery. One slip, and it was game over. I didn't want a nasty scar on my neck. It had ruined my look. I told you to be quiet, the woman hissed. She was drenched in cold sweat, her eyes darting around like a trapped animal. Her hand was shaking. Senior sister, what do we do? Another girl whispered. She was trembling too, carrying a younger girl on her back. It was too dark to see their faces clearly, but their voices sounded pretty. We've been poisoned by the blood-refining miasma, the older one said, her voice thin. Our cultivation is down to less than 10%. If we go out, they'll catch us instantly. We have to hide and pray. The younger girl started crying. The blood-refining sect, they're monsters. They'll drain our blood to increase their power. That's not all they'll do, the senior sister added, her voice grim. They'll tear our clothes off. They'll make us beg for death. If they catch us, we kill ourselves. We can't let them defile us or turn us into blood corpses. The younger girl nodded, sobbing. If anyone saves us from those monsters, I'd marry them on the spot. I decided I'd heard enough. With a sudden, explosive movement, I ducked away from the blade. The senior sister was too weak to react. By the time she swung her sword, I was already standing at a safe distance. You? Don't move, or... I smirked. Or what? You've only got 10% of your power left, and you're still trying to threaten me? I hate being threatened. Lin Yuan. She muttered. The name seemed familiar to her, but she didn't have time to think. Even with 10%, I can still kill. I didn't let her finish. I blurred across the cave and grabbed her throat in a flash. Who's killing who now? The other girl tried to stand up to help, but her face went pale and she collapsed, unconscious. Let my sister go, she gasped before blacking out. Senior sister. The shout was a bit too loud. They're in the cave, a voice yelled from outside. I found them. Little beauties, your big brother is coming for you. The senior sister started shaking violently. Her sword clattered to the floor. She looked at me with eyes full of despair. Please just kill us. Kill us now. Kill you? That's not my style, I said. I didn't have a grudge against them. I might get experience points for kills, but I have a bottom line. I don't kill innocent people. Get in there and drag them out, the voice outside commanded. 2 disciples from the blood-refining sect stepped into the cave. I let go of the girl and cracked my knuckles. Bastards. You ruined my sleep and you're bullying women. I really hate guys like you. The senior sister slumped against the wall, trying to reach for her sword but failing. She looked at my back and let out a bitter laugh. If you actually save us, I really will marry you. I turned back and grinned. Hold you to that. Don't go back on your word. But she had already fainted. The 2 disciples lunged into the cave. I didn't hesitate. I channeled the power of my toad style into my fists. Get lost. I threw 2 massive punches. Asterisk bang. Bang. Asterisk. The disciples flew backward out of the cave, smashing into a tree. Their chests caved in, and they sprayed blood before hitting the ground dead. Ding. Congratulations to player Lin Yuan for killing a blood-refining sect disciple. Gained 200 experience, 20 true chi, and 10 energy. Ding. Congratulations to player Lin Yuan for killing a blood-refining sect disciple. Gained 200 experience, 20 true chi, and 10 energy. 2 punches, 2 kills. Senior brother, there's a master in there, the other disciples shouted, scrambling back. A man stepped forward, his eyes narrowing as he stared into the dark cave. The blood-refining sect is conducting business here. If you know what's good for you, kid, you'll get lost. If you don't leave, don't blame me for being impolite, the leader of the blood-refining sect barked. Impolite? Screw your ancestors, I muttered under my breath. Go ahead, be as impolite as you want. I want to see who's going to break first. The senior brother's face twisted in rage. He let out a roar and lunged toward the cave. His footsteps were heavy, echoing like a marching army with every stride. Blood-red energy swirled around his palms as he gathered his true chi. The moment he crossed the threshold, he slammed a palm strike downward. Die, he screamed. But his hand hit nothing but cold air. He froze, his eyes widening as he looked around the dark space. It was empty. Then, he noticed something strange on the ground. He looked closer, and his heart nearly stopped. A giant toad was staring back at him. Boom. I launched myself like a cannonball. Using my toad style, I slammed my entire body weight directly into the senior brother's stomach. The impact sent him flying backward out of the cave. I didn't stop there. I channeled my true chi into my legs and landed a follow-up strike that sent him crashing into the dirt. He gasped for air, clutching his midsection. He had never seen a technique that turned a person into a giant toad, and he certainly hadn't expected to be ambushed while he was trying to do the ambushing. His face went pale as he struggled to stand. You dare oppose the blood-refining sect? He wheezed, coughing up blood. Give me your name. I rubbed my chin, thinking fast. My name? Fine. I'm Zhuge Jinxiang. Didn't we get hit by the blood-refining, soul-misting smoke? She scrambled over to her sisters, shaking the eldest one. Senior sister, wake up. We've been captured. The mention of the blood-refining sect acted like a cold bucket of water. The two older sisters bolted upright, their bodies trembling instinctively. The eldest sister grabbed her cold steel sword and scanned the cave. She let out a long, heavy sigh of relief. Little sister, you nearly scared me to death, she breathed. We're still in the cave from yesterday. The youngest girl scratched her head. Really? I don't remember coming back here. Of course you don't, the second sister teased. You fainted before we even got inside. I had to carry you the whole way. The youngest girl immediately pounced on her, planting a big kiss on her cheek. Second sister is the best. So what happened last night? The second sister pushed her off, her expression turning thoughtful as she looked at the eldest. I remember. Wasn't there a boy in here with us? The eldest sister nodded, rubbing her temples. The lingering effects of the mist made her head throb. Before I passed out, I saw him standing at the entrance. It looked like he was protecting us. I wonder what happened to him. A boy, the youngest chirped, her eyes sparkling. Was he handsome? Oh my God, a hero saving beauties? Why did I have to miss the best part? Did you guys promise to marry him? The eldest sister smirked at the second. Well, someone did say last night that she'd marry whoever saved us. I heard it too, the second sister giggled. The youngest girl looked dejected. I can't believe I missed it. If he's a hottie, maybe I'll marry him too. We can all three marry the same guy. The two older sisters glared at her, and she immediately shut her mouth. I hope he's okay, the eldest sister whispered. The blood-refining sect is ruthless. He probably. Suddenly, a delicious aroma filled the air. Her stomach let out a loud, traitorous growl. They hadn't eaten in a day. I smell it too, the youngest said, drooling. I'm going to go look. Outside, I was tending to the fire. Whoa, take it easy, little white. It's hot. The white wolf pup I'd befriended snatched a piece of roasted meat and was about to bolt when he saw the young girl step out of the cave. She was about 15, wearing a white dress, with eyes full of spirit and a figure that was already stunning. Little White's eyes practically turned into hearts. He trotted over and wagged his tail, offering her the meat. Oh, what a cute little puppy, she squealed, scooping him up. I turned around and my jaw nearly hit the dirt. Wow. This world really didn't lack for beauties. There were 3 of them now. One cute lowly type, one bright and youthful, and one mature and elegant. Every single one of them was prettier than any celebrity from my old world. I remembered what they said last night about marriage, and a smug grin started to form. My lucky days were finally here. After I drove off the sect members, I hadn't gone back into the cave. I'd spent the morning hunting and cooking breakfast. Now, I realized I'd made a mistake. I should have gone back in earlier to check on them. I cleared my throat and tried to look as dignified and heroic as possible. You're awake. The youngest sister squinted at me, looking me up and down with zero hesitation. He's kind of average. Not exactly the legendary handsome hero I was expecting. My smile twitched. Well, she sighed to her sisters. Life is about compromise. Once the lights are out in bed, You can't see his face anyway. You brat. Shut up, the eldest sister hissed, pinching her arm. She stepped forward and bowed politely. Thank you for saving us, young hero. Saving my own wives is nothing, I blurted out. I caught myself and coughed. I mean, helping ladies in distress is just what a hero does. No need for thanks. Besides, you two said last night. I didn't even get to finish. The three of them had already huddled together, tearing into the roasted meat and ignoring me completely. This dog is so cute. The meat is amazing. I've never tasted anything like it. I stood there like an idiot, watching Little White snuggle into their arms, looking like the happiest little pervert on the planet. The girls were taking turns hugging him, and he was loving every second of it. I glared at the wolf. Let go of those girls and get over here, I thought bitterly. That should be me. It didn't matter how hard I tried to join their conversation. I was invisible. Every time I opened my mouth to speak, they looked right through me. It was pathetic. With no other choice, I went back to the fire and kept roasting meat by myself. But as soon as a piece was done, Little White would snatch it out of my hands and carry it over to the girls like a loyal servant. He was totally playing them for attention. I wanted to cry. What kind of world was this? I actually found myself wishing I was a wolf. At least then I'd get a hug. I kept cooking anyway. I'd roasted over a dozen slabs of meat and hadn't managed to eat a single bite. My stomach was screaming at me. By the time the three girls and that traitorous wolf were finally stuffed, it was almost noon. Only then did I get to eat the leftovers. Hey, the youngest sister said, her tone bossy and sharp. Be our bodyguard. Escort us back to Holy City. I glanced at her, unimpressed. The blood sect members are gone. What are you afraid of? You can walk back yourselves. Why do you need me? Liar. She muttered under her breath, pouting. The eldest sister stepped forward. The blood cloud mists are still in our systems. We won't pass out again, but our cultivation hasn't fully recovered. We need protection until we reach the city. Please, young hero. The second sister nodded. Please, finish what you started. Even Little White joined in, tugging at my pant leg with his teeth and looking up at me with those big, watery eyes. I'd raised that wolf for 6 months, and here he was, selling me out for 3 pretty faces. I was about to say no when a notification pinged in my head. Ding. New quest. Escort the 3 sisters of the Chaotian sect to Holy City. Rank B. Reward. 10,000 EXP, 1,000 True Chi. Yellow grade rank 3 Wilderness Blade. A quest. That changed things. I let out a long, weary sigh. Fine. I'll do it. Besides, I was heading back to Holy City anyway. The girls cheered and went right back to playing with the wolf, ignoring me again. Little White looked like he was in paradise, buried in their arms. I'm only doing this for Little White, the youngest teased. I wouldn't want him to get lost. I rolled my eyes. Whatever. I just wanted to get home. The only person in this world who actually treated me well was Xiao Xiao, and I missed her. The journey out of the Holy Mountains took 15 days. During that time, my presence remained minimal. I got used to it. These girls were beautiful, but they were disciples of the Chaotian sect. I knew how powerful that sect was, even stronger than the Holy Dynasty itself. It was basically a school for the elite, a place where only the top geniuses gathered. Even as a member of the Long family, one of the 4 pillars, I would have had to pass a dozen brutal tests just to get through the front gates. The sisters were in the area to scout for new recruits for next spring. As we finally reached the west gate of Holy City, the system chimed again. Ding! Asterisk quest complete. Rewards. 10,000 EXP, 1,000 True Chi. Yellow grade rank 3 Wilderness Blade. Asterisk. We're here, I said, not wasting a second. Take care. Goodbye. I turned to leave immediately. The 3 sisters stood there, stunned. They looked at each other, clearly questioning their own charms. Most men would have begged for another minute with them, but I was already walking away. Women are strange creatures. They ignore you when you're nice, but the moment you stop caring, they get offended. Wait, the eldest sister called out. She pulled a jade token from her robes. This is a Chaotian sect token. If you ever need help, find our branch in the city. Also, this allows you to skip the preliminary trials for the sect entrance exam. A Chaotian sect token. That was a serious prize. Even royalty struggled to get their hands on one. I wasn't about to turn down free loot. I took it and nodded. Thanks. Little White, let's go. I whistled, and the wolf followed. We left them standing at the gate. What a jerk, the youngest sister huffed. Does he even know what that token means? He's such a country bumpkin. The eldest sister smiled softly. He probably just has somewhere important to be. Let's go. The second sister frowned, thinking hard. Long Fei. I feel like I've heard that name somewhere before. Ooh, are you already missing him? The youngest teased. Is our sister in love? You little brat. Get back here. They started chasing each other, the trauma of the mountains already fading. But they didn't know that the blood sect was already in the city, and they weren't looking for the girls. They were looking for a man named Zhuge Jianxiang. I didn't go straight to the slums to find Xiao Xiao. Instead, I headed to the Furong restaurant. It was the most famous spot in the city, and Xiao Xiao loved their steamed buns. I was also starving. After 6 months of eating charred mountain meat, I needed a real meal. I ordered a private room and a table full of food. I was just about to dig in when the door slammed open. A rich kid in silk robes walked in, flanked by 2 bodyguards. He sneered the moment he saw me. Well, my eyes aren't playing tricks on me, he mocked. It's the Long family's biggest trash, Long Fei. You've been hiding for 6 months, but you finally crawled back. This was Long Ao, the youngest son of the 5th elder. Back when I had my cultivation and the dragon god's bloodline, he didn't dare look me in the eye. But after I was crippled, he became my biggest bully. He was the one who had beaten me unconscious right before I left for the mountains. I didn't even look up from my plate. Get lost. Don't ruin my appetite, or I'll make you crawl out of here. How dare you? One of the bodyguards barked. Long Ao laughed. You still think you're a genius? You're just a waste with a broken dantian. You're nothing but a... I moved like a flash. Slap. Long Ao didn't even see it coming. He hit the floor hard, a bright red handprint swelling on his face. He stared up at me, dazed and confused. What are you looking at? Long Ao screamed at his guards. Kill him. Ow, my face. The 2 bodyguards lunged at me. Asterisk slap. Slap. Asterisk. 2 more hits, and both guards were face down on the floor next to their master. I sat back down and picked up my chopsticks. Long Ao didn't say another word. He had reached level 8 warrior in the last 6 months and thought he was hot stuff, but he couldn't even track my movements. The gap between us was a canyon. He tried to quietly crawl toward the door. I reached out and stepped on his head, pinning him to the floor. Trying to sneak away? I asked. You told me to crawl out, he squeaked, his voice trembling. I'm crawling. I pressed my foot down harder. Pay the bill first. Then you can crawl. Long Ao's face was red with fury, but he was too terrified to fight back. Just wait until we get back to the Long estate, he thought bitterly. I'll make you pay for this. I packed up the hibiscus buns and headed straight for the slums. Half an hour later, I reached the familiar old courtyard. I expected to see the little girl waiting for me, but the place was a mess. Dust covered everything, and it looked like nobody had lived here for months. My heart sank. Something was wrong. An old woman from next door peeked out, her voice trembling as she spoke. She told me that months ago, a group of men had come and taken her away. My blood turned to ice. Long Dayo, I knew it was him. He had touched the one person he should have never laid a finger on. I didn't just walk to the Long Imperial Mansion, I stormed it. I charged through the gates and let out a roar that shook the walls. Long Dayo, get your pathetic self out here right now. My temper was at a boiling point. The guards at the gate flinched at the sound of my voice. One of them squinted at me and whispered to his partner, Isn't that the loser Lin Yuan? I thought he left the city. Why is he back? Before he could even finish his sentence, I moved. My palm connected with his face in a deafening crack. He hit the ground like a dead dog, unconscious before he even realized what happened. I looked down at him with cold, murderous eyes. Dog, I spat. Is my name something a servant like you is allowed to speak? The authority in my voice paralyzed the other guards. They knew that man was a level 2 warrior, yet I had swatted him aside like a fly. It had only been 6 months, but I wasn't the broken boy they remembered. I kept walking. The mansion was massive, but I didn't care who saw me. Every time a disciple or a servant pointed at me and called me a waste, I didn't argue. I just slapped them into the dirt. I cleared a path of broken bodies all the way into the inner courtyard. Lin Yuan, what do you think you're doing? A voice boomed. You dare force your way into the mansion? Stop now, or I won't be merciful. 2 rows of armored soldiers marched out, their steps perfectly synchronized. These were the Long family's elite guards. They leveled their dragon steel spears at my chest. Leading them was a man named Longshan. He wasn't a blood relative, but his ancestors had served mine for generations, earning the family name through military merit. He was a level 4 battle master, a rising star among the younger generation. He glared at me, but I didn't blink. Longshan, I growled, my voice heavy with pressure. Since when does a commander of the guards address the young lord by his name? You have a lot of nerve. I stepped toward him, letting my aura flare. In this house, everyone knew the truth. My grandfather had personally named me the successor in the ancestral hall. Whether I was a waste or a genius, I was still the future master of the Long family. And it was time I started acting like it.